Hello everyone, how are you? I'm Andre Miura. I'm the director here at Chiptronic, and I'm very proud to present to you a new tool that we've created, the ECU Test Expert. This is a tool, folks, that will make things more accessible for everyone in the automotive repair field, especially those working with diesel vehicles, both light and heavy duty. So why ECU Test Expert? Why did we create yet another simulator? We're already on the 4th generation of simulators, so why create another simulator? Guys, this device takes things to a much more advanced level when it comes to startup strategies, right? So it brings a more universal concept, allowing you to test many types of modules. So it's an infinity concept. Just like we already had for the light diesel, gasoline, and ethanol Lineza more universal product, we then created the ECU Test Expert, which for people in diesel workshops or those looking to set up their own lab for repairing diesel parts and components, also reaches a very exclusive level, okay? So speaking of startup strategy, folks, this equipment goes really deep, analyzing everything from the line 30. Main relay, it actually generates these inputs for these components, which then return inputs to validate each stage and ensure the startup process of a module like no other product in the world does, okay? This is something exclusive to the ECU Test Expert. We worked hard to pinpoint exactly where the startup failures were, the startup strategy failures of an ECU on the test bench. So right here on the side, even through the LEDs, you can already see each of these stages happening, so it really goes in depth. So it activates the main relay, then moves on to line 15, line 50, the starter relay, and after validating the starter relay process, it powers the crankshaft position sensor, the ground for the crankshaft position sensor, the camshaft position sensor, and the ground for the camshaft position sensor. All of that, folks. So what do we have here? Here we have a very well-structured starting strategy, step by step, thoroughly validating that the ECU is really energizing the components, one stage at a time, ensuring that nothing fails during the starting process. All of this is so you can send out a module with full confidence that it will arrive and work and the vehicle will start. Another very important thing as well, folks, is that this equipment already comes with several plug-and-play cables. So you check our online pinout manual, which when you purchase the product, you get access to one. Then you can use the universal cables that come with it to connect the module right here on the workbench. That's also a really cool feature if you don't want to pin the module yourself. We already offer a plug-and-play cable package. You just connect it, right, with all the connectors ready for you to simply hook up an ECU and start testing in less than a minute. So folks, this also makes the product very practical. Another thing, speaking of applications, it supports everything from the more modern Scania 8, S7, S6 to the older MS 6.2 and so on, okay? It also covers the FH4 family, D12, D13, and so on. It also supports the Motorola family, like CM8 150, 2150, 2220, right? And the entire DC7 family and Mercedes family as well, and so on. So we have cables for various types of modules, all plug and play. Another very important thing is that if you want a more complete cable, we're also coming out with our super cable. These are cables that let you connect everything, folks, right on the workbench. So more and more Chiptronic is moving toward the concept of making complete connections for all ECUs. Why is that, folks? Because we know that nowadays many ECUs are paired, and in order to really simulate an ECU in depth and be sure that when it gets there, it won't fail, you have to connect everything. So now, with this product and other products in the ECU test line, you also have super cables capable of connecting all the modules like we're seeing here with the Scania 8 being connected with many components and parts, and even the units over there on the side that the camera isn't capturing. Okay, folks? So this speeds things up, makes it very practical, very fast. And what's the biggest advantage for us? Testing precision, folks. You can connect the scanner here, pair modules, and so on. Configure a series of factors that you can now handle with the super cables. Another very important thing about this equipment is that it works for everything from a van or a 12-volt pickup, small 12-volt trucks, all the way up to heavy-duty 24-volt trucks, as well as yellow line, agricultural, and construction vehicles. So it's a universal concept, something we've never had before in the diesel vehicle family. Now we have a universal and very well-designed piece of equipment that from the instrumentation here on the panel, when you power it up and plug in the module, you can already see which signal is being sent to the ECU and what response the ECU is sending back. And you can already see through the LEDs if the ECU is responding, so you can make a visual diagnosis right here, which is very practical. We also brought the same Infinity concept to diesel. In addition to the terminals here, you can also connect an oscilloscope, a multimeter, and so on. It comes with an initial capacity for 6 cylinders, but it can be expanded to 12, 14, or even 20 cylinders. We know that in diesel, some heavy marine engines have more cylinders, so it's prepared for that as well. You also have a power supply here, so you can use measurement equipment by drawing power directly from it, ensuring the quality of your equipment's power supply, and so on. And also PWM. Here we have PWM signal generation with high current capacity. So you also have a very robust PWM generator here. So guys, on top of everything, this is the first product that now comes with an automatic power supply. You can plug it into either 110 or 220 volts. And it also has an overcurrent protection system, which we already had in our previous equipment, but we didn't have automatic dual voltage. Now you have that in this product, along with overcurrent protection, that is short circuit protection, right? So there's a fuse here as well for protection, and also an internal strategy in the equipment itself, which protects it in case of a short circuit by shutting down, so you don't have to worry about it burning out. So that's something we also consider. Guys, another important thing we have in this equipment is the ability for you to connect external components to it, like injectors, as I mentioned, a pedal, and so on, right? You can connect an external component here, the original component from the vehicle, for example, a pedal. Then you'll be able to see the actual feedback on the scanner and know whether it's working properly or not, right there on the test bench. And also, this pinhole manual is expandable. Every month or every few months, new things are added as well. And another very important thing about this equipment, guys, is that since it comes with the Infinity concept, I have some news for you, is the logger. What is the logger? The logger is a device, guys. It's an accessory optional if you want to have it, right? Let's say a completely different vehicle arrives here, or maybe a power generator that you want to test the module on. You go to the generator, turn it on, right? Connect the logger to the crankshaft and camshaft sensors, and it will already start acquiring the signal. You just leave it there at idle, and it acquires the signal very quickly. You send us the new signal, which we might not have here yet, and in about 3 hours, we send the process signal back to you, so you can already test the ECU, right? I say 3 hours, but it could be sooner, okay, everyone? Just to make sure for you all. And another very important thing is that you end up having a lot of ease and convenience when it comes to adding new things here. When you send the signal, you get that signal back, okay? So that's really cool too. You don't pay for that signal. We create all of this for you and send it to you, right? Of course, as long as it's not a repeated signal that's already in the simulator, right? In that case, you will need to purchase the new versions. As they come out, you can update if new versions are released. But if it's a new signal that you don't have and you want to have all this flexibility, you'll have it now with this new tool, which is also fantastic and which we're very happy to present to you. The logger. Another thing I saved for last to tell you folks is that you start with the basic version, connecting the pins one by one with the cable. If you can afford to have all the more complete cables, you know what you can do later? You can upgrade this equipment to the pro level by using the ECU TEST Pro system modules, which eliminate more faults and also allow you to achieve much greater testing accuracy. So look how cool that is. You can upgrade your equipment. You can have a piece of equipment here that you start with the basics, and as you're able to, you can keep expanding. So folks, that's what's fantastic about this solution. We're really happy to present to you the ECU Test Expert, which is capable of simulating all the systems, that is the modules and components of electronic systems. So here it is, folks, the opportunity for you to set up your own lab, right? And now be able to have an advanced electronics lab with just one tool. It's very affordable, highly dynamic, and very comprehensive, right? And it leverages Chiptronic's know-how from all these 27 years of repairing automotive electronic parts and components. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to present this to you. If we're doing this here, it's because you trusted our work and gave us the opportunity to bring a new tool that will definitely make all the difference in your lab. Many thanks to the entire Chiptronic team and to everyone who trusts and believes in our work. We are very happy to be today one of the companies that help this country get trucks back on the road, right? To truly contribute to the environment and to enable the recovery of parts that would otherwise be thrown away. I think that's our role. That's what gets us out of bed every day. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure. See you next time. Bye-bye.